Hello guys, welcome back to a new video. Today I've got a jersey design tutorial for you guys. I'm not designing the actual jersey, this is just an advertisement design. I did make a speed art on this recently, so if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. And most of the comments were just make a tutorial on it, and yeah, so I got an overwhelming response on this video, and it just shows me that a lot of you guys want to know how to make it. And yeah, so that's what we're going to be showing you today. I did make this I did change it to Rise instead of Agony for this tutorial, just because I didn't want the thumbnail to be the same. But well, that's the main reason anyway. But first off, I want to start off by saying I do get these jersey designs by Armour Centrum. They've got some really sick designs on here, and they are probably by far the best jersey company in the esports community. And yeah, so this is where I get my designs. Literally, I just go to the homepage and then have a look at what designs look cool. And yeah, once you find one you like, just right click on it and press save to downloads, or it'll just be save. I think on Windows it'll just be save image or something like that. But yeah, it's really easy to get really high quality pictures of these jerseys. And yeah, so the second thing we'll need is this PSD. This is the PSD that has the light on the top. Just because in the speed art I did use a brush for the light, but in this I actually can't remember where I got it from. And yeah, so you can see I have all of these lights here. I just can't remember where I got them from. And yeah, so that's why you guys will be able to download this PSD, which has the light that we're going to be using, and also has the right dimensions that we used in this design as well. But if you guys don't want to download this PSD, the dimensions that we are going to be using is let me just see, 725 by 950 pixels. So yeah, if you don't want to download this light, all you need to do is go to File, New, and then just put the dimensions in right here. So yeah, okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to import our jersey design. So it's going to click, drag it in, and now we need to make sure that it's centered. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to click on our layer 0. If your layer 0 is locked, you just need to click on the padlock, and that will unlock it straight away for you. And yeah, so now what we need to do is we need to press Command T, and now we'll get this icon right in the middle. And now we're going to use our rulers to just click and drag them in, just like that. And now you can see that we have these guides. If you don't have these rulers across your Photoshop, just press Command R, and they'll hide and show your rulers. And if you want to hide your guides, just press Command colon, and they'll hide and show your guides as well. And okay, so now what we need to do is we need to drag our jersey design below our light, just so we can get the reflection from the light onto the jersey, and just to make the whole advertisement seem more realistic. And okay, so now we need to make sure that it's centered. Okay, well, it already is, which is just lucky, I suppose. And now we need to resize it, so we're just going to hold Alt and Shift at the same time to resize it perfectly. Okay, that should be fine. Okay, now that we've done that, I like to add a layer style to the jersey design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on the layer, and we're going to go to Gradient Overlay. And sometimes I like to leave on 100% design, depends what the design of the jersey is. But you need to make sure that blend mode is on multiply, make sure that the gradient is just a black to white normal gradient, and we're just going to decrease the opacity of the gradient down, just so you can still see the bottoms, because we still want to be able to see it. And we can also click and drag on the image if we want to move our gradient up and down if we wanted to as well. Okay, so we just want to position it properly, and then we're going to set the opacity so you can still see everything that's going on. Okay, now that we've done that, we're now going to go to Inner Glow, and now you can see it kind of brightens up the sides. And I just like the effect that it has. You guys can kind of see the difference, and you guys can just copy down these digits if you're wanting to do the same thing. I definitely advise using the Inner Glow. I think it looks really good, especially when we start adding the color correction and all that as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to Satin, and you guys, I think these are the exact digits that I used on the actual design. So you guys can just copy this. You can, when I turn down the size, you can see like these black strains across the design. And when we increase the size, it basically just blurs those even more, and we can actually fill around the opacity as well. And I just like them just because it adds a bit more texture to the design, and I just think it looks a lot cooler that way. And yeah, so okay, now that we've done that, we can just press OK, or you can press Enter on our keyboard. Now we need to start playing around with the Lightroom and making sure that it all looks realistic. And yeah, so now what we need to do is, we got our light source at the top, but now we need to make a reflection on the floor, which would be right here, where the light is shining onto it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our ellipse tool right here. You might have your rectangle tool open, so all you need to do is click and hold and go to your ellipse tool. Make sure that your foreground color is a white, just like that. Press OK. Now, well, actually no, that actually didn't do anything. So what we need to do is we need to go to Fill, make sure it's white, and now we need to go to stroke and then click on this icon right here to make the stroke transparent. Okay, now we need to show our guides again, just so we can actually make sure that the light is going to be centered. So what we're going to do is we're going to click and hold, then hold Alt, and now we can see that we're expanding from the center. And we just want to make the correct shape, so how you think that it would look in real life. So I think it would look pretty much like that. I think that would be a decent shape for it. And okay, so now you can see that we've just basically just put an oval pretty much on our design. It doesn't look too good, it doesn't have any effects on it. So now what we need to do is need to go to filter, blur, and then Gaussian blur, and press rasterize. And now this is where we basically look a lot more realistic. So you just want to blur, you don't want to blur it too much, because we will be lowering down the opacity anyway. And if you do blur it too much, it will start to lose its shape, kind of like that, and we don't really want that. So I think, actually, no, I think we will blur it quite a bit. I think that should be fine, just like that. So we're going for 31.7 pixels, and now what we're going to do is we're going to lower the opacity down. Okay, so now we've kind of got the spotlight, but when we blur it, it kind of makes it a bit smaller. So what we're going to do is we're going to press Command T, and we can just expand it, just like that. And now you can see that we've got this, well, we basically got the light from the source up here, and it's shining onto the floor. Now what we need to do is make a shadow for the jersey, and to do that we need to go back to our ellipse tool, and we need to make sure that the fill is black, and then we're going to show our guides again. Oh yeah, show our guides again, just like that, by pressing Command colon, and we're going to click expand from the center again using Alt, and we want to make we need it to be the same width of the jersey, just so it makes it look realistic. And okay, and we also need to make sure that it is above the light source that we just made on the floor, otherwise it will be quite difficult to see it, as like you can't actually see it. So we need to make sure that the ellipse is above the first one that we made. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to filter, blur, and then Gaussian blur again, just like we did with the lights. Go to rasterize, and we're going to lower the opacity down. And it doesn't really matter if you blur it too much with this, because if you do it a little bit like this, then all you need to do is lower the opacity. But or you could just increase like that, and it looks pretty good like that. So now you can see that we got the shadow going, and we got the light source all sorted out, and yeah, everything's looking pretty good. Now what we need to do is we need to add these textures that you can see in the background. So you can see this one down on the floor, and then you can see, well, you can't really see the one in the background, but it is there, and it does add a bit of depth to the design as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to use rated 70,000 subscriber pack, and if you don't have it, all you need to do is go to his YouTube channel. I think it's one of his recent videos, so you guys can just go check that out. And yeah, so for the floor, we just need to, the dark textures always work best. I just thought I should say that. Yeah, so it's in the second part of his pack. Go to textures and stocks, and we're just trying to find a nice dark one. Yeah, it might take some fiddling around trying to find the right one. I think we'll use this one though. So we're just going to click, drag it in just like that. Okay, we need to make sure that it fills the whole width of the design, and just press on the tick at the top just like that. And now we're going to drag the layer right below everything just like that, and we need to make sure that it finishes just about probably about quarter way up the jersey, so like you can see it doesn't go further than that, because that's where we want the floor to end. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to edit, transform, and perspective. We can zoom out a little by pressing command and then command and then minus, and then we can just drag out this bottom part, or this bottom corner, and now you can see that it kind of adds a it makes it look like a floor pretty much. And then we can actually lower the opacity of that as well. And yeah, it's not looking too bad. And I also like to add a bit of a blur, so we're going to go to blur and then Gaussian blur, and it just kind of adds more depth, like I said before, and I kind of like it like that. Okay, so now you can see that we've got a texture on the floor. Now we need to find a texture for the back wall, so we're going to do the same thing. Again, probably the darker textures would be best, because it's kind of a dark kind of a theme to the design. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click, drag this one in. I think this one should be fine. Make sure it's the whole width of the design again. And actually, we also need to make sure, because it's the back wall, we need to make sure that it meets the bottom of the floor. So it might be a bit hard to see, so you might need to increase the opacity of the floor layer again. But yeah, we just need to keep making sure that it is the right size, just like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to lower the opacity down, just like we did with the floor, and we don't want to lower it too much because we do want to make sure that people can still see it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to filter, blur, and then Gaussian blur, just like we did with the floor and pretty much everything else. And okay, I think that should be fine. So we'll go for about 9.5 pixels there, and it's looking pretty good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add some color correction. So if you don't have this adjustments tab open, all you need to do is go to window and then adjustments right there, and let me just open that again. And first thing we're going to add is brightness and contrast. So we're going to increase the contrast quite a bit and also increase the brightness. It just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of makes the colors more harsh, and it just suits our style of the design that we're going for. And once we fiddle with the color correction, we might need to actually go back to some of the lighting. So as you can see, like the light is kind of hard to see, so we might actually need to increase the opacity of that just to make it a bit more visible again. And okay, so we've done our brightness and contrast. So now we're going to add some curves. So we're just going to make a regular S-shaped curve, I think. And again, it's literally just enhancing the colors. Actually, I don't know, we probably won't go for an S shape. I think this looks pretty good. Okay, that looks fine. And then the last thing we'll add is the exposure. We'll increase the exposure a bit, and I don't think we'll actually mess around with the gamma at all. Okay, so that's pretty much the environment done. So we've pretty much fiddled with the room enough. And again, you can mess around with different textures. I think I actually use a different texture for the floor here. And yeah, so now we're going to do these rings, as you can see here. And they're a really cool effect. I really like them. And a lot of you guys wanted me to do a tutorial on them, like individually, but I'm just gonna put it in this this tutorial right here. Okay, so we're gonna be going back to our ellipse tool right here. Make sure that the stroke is gonna be the same color as the jersey. So we're gonna go for a bit of a red. We don't want to go for black, otherwise it'll be hard to see. So we're gonna go for a kind of a dark red. That'll be fine, and then make sure that there is no fill whatsoever. Okay, now that we've done that, we need to show our guides again. So we're going to press Command colon, and then we're just going to click and then expand from the center. And then we want it to be really thin, just because it'll be going around the jersey, and we don't want it to be, I don't know, you'll see what I mean as you do it when you're following along. And yeah, so once we've decided on the size, we can just let go. And now you can see that we've actually built this, well, basically a sphere. And yeah, so now what we're going to do is we're going to press Command T, and we're just going to rotate it. And you might need to resize it if you didn't make it big enough. So that should be fine like that. Okay, it's not looking too bad. This is the basis of our ring, and it is looking pretty good so far. Now we need to go to our eraser tool, which is right here. Just click once while you've still got your ellipse layer selected. Press OK. And now we need to right click and then make sure that the hardness is 100% and that the size is relatively small, kind of like this. This should be fine. You can also resize the brush by using our square bracket keys like that. It's really easy. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to zoom in a bit, and we need to kind of erase just from the very corner of the jersey design, because we don't want any overhang like that, just because it makes it look scrappy and we want it to look as professional as possible. And now we're just going to erase from the jersey right here, and then we might need to make it a bit smaller here, and just erase just like that. And now you can see we kind of got the effect as if it's going around the jersey, and it looks pretty cool. I like it. I've used this effect in quite a few different designs. And okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to double click on our ellipse tool, and we're going to add some layer style. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some not inner glow, some outer glow, if I can actually, there we go, outer glow, just like that. And I think these are the actual digits that I used in the actual design, so you guys can just copy this down. You can also fiddle around with it. Of course, if you're using different colors with different textures, it might impact differently, but we just want that glow effect, and I think we've got it pretty well over here. And yeah, so like I said, you guys can just copy these digits down. You can pause the video if you need to as well. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to add a texture to the sphere. So what we need to go back to our rateds pack, and we're going to find a nice texture. Again, the dark ones will look best, and I think this one would be fine. And now we're going to right click on the texture, go to create clipping mask, and now you can see that the texture is only on the ring. And now we need to go to the blending option of the texture, and then go to overlay. And you can kind of see it adds a little of a texture to the ring, and it just makes it look a lot better, in my opinion. You don't have to do it, but I like the way it looks like that. Okay, so now that we've done that, we are now going to add all these little sparkle effects that we got going on around here. So now we need to make a new layer, just like that. Press B on your keyboard to show to use the brush tool, and now we're going to use these debris brushes, which are also from Rated's. I think they're in Rated's pack. If they are in Rated's pack, I think it is this. I'm not 100% sure, just because I actually got it from his sell file website. So if this isn't the right brush pack, then you can just go to his sell file, which I'll also leave in the description as well. Okay, so we actually want the brush to be really small, just kind of like, I think this would be a good size. Again, we're using our square bracket keys to change the size, and we're going to change the foreground color to a red. Again, we do kind of want it to be a bit brighter than the actual ring. And we're going to go up to this icon right here, and this is where we can actually change the dynamics of the actual brush. So we're going to go to shape dynamics, and we're going to change the angle jitter to 100%, and I think that's going to be the only thing we're actually going to be changing, which is perfect. And now we're just going to click and just keep clicking over the whole ring, and then you can see it kind of adds a nice sparkle to it. And so we just want to keep doing it just like this. You might need to keep going over it, just like that. You might like overlap it, kind of, just to enhance the effect a bit more. So like if it's a bit harder to see, you might want to have some effects going astray. So you just like click on the whole banner. on the jersey itself. And okay, so that's kind of the effect we're going for, and it looks pretty cool. So now we are going to duplicate. Well, we're going to select all of the layers. So the ellipse, the texture, and the sparkles. We're going to press Shift and then click on the bottom one, press Command J, and what that will do is it will duplicate the rings. And now we press Command T, right click, and then press Flip Horizontal, and now you can see it kind of just flips the selection. The ring onto the other side. And if you did download your jersey design from the Armour Centrum website, then it should be symmetrical on both sides, therefore it should be okay. It's like it should match up properly, just like it did on the first one. And now we need to add a shadow on one of the rings, just to show that there are two different rings there. So we need to click on the sparkle layer of the top of the bottom ring, and then just make a new layer just by clicking on that icon. Press B on your keyboard to use a brush again, right click, and then we'll use this default brush right here. It should be fine. Just click off, and then we're going to make sure that black is our foreground color, and we just want to click once at the intersection there, and there you can see that we've basically divided the two rings. And yeah, that's basically how you make that effect. Now we're going to add some blur to the rings, just to add a bit more to the effect. You can kind of see that we added a bit of blur here. Well, it might be a bit hard to see actually. So what we need to do is we need to click on the we need to find the ring, the layer. We'll do the bottom one first. Then go to Filter, Blur, and then Gaussian Blur. And you don't want to blur it too much, obviously, because then you just won't even see it. So you want a subtle blur, kind of. So I think 2.1 pixels will be fine. And then we're going to go to our second ellipse that we made, and then we can just press Command F, and it will basically just use the same blur that you used from the original. But if you want to, you can mix it up, and I think I might actually do that for this design. So I might blur it a bit less, I think, for the second one. And okay, so that's pretty good. And now I think we're actually going to mess around with the color correction a bit more. So I think we're actually going to add a bit more gamma correction. So you guys can just click on this icon right here to edit the exposure, and then we can enhance the gamma correction. You don't want to enhance it too much though, just to add effect to the rings. So yeah, that's basically how you do this tutorial, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, please don't forget to leave a like. And yeah, also check out my other videos if you enjoy graphic design. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.